Hey everybody, welcome to Open by Accident. I'm Matt, and today we're going to look at some Xbox games I've been recently playing that are either budget friendly or free. Let's jump right in.
All right, guys, jumping right in. The first one we have here is BVOVB. This is a free-to-play game. It is totally free in the Microsoft Store. BVOVB is Bruising Vengeance of a Vintage Boxer. So you play a retired boxer that is trying to retrieve his stolen dog. This game came out in November of 21. It uses a graphic style that's very unique, where they're using old pictures from the teens through the 30s, and it's a very interesting style choice. It's kind of amusing, a lot of fun. The difficulty level's pretty high. Some of the pickups are kind of interesting, like picking up a pineapple, for example, or some sort of hatchet and just whacking away at people. It's a lot of fun. Again, the difficulty a little tough. Probably recommend tuning it down to a bit lower difficulty, getting used to the controls, and then ramping up from there for your second playthrough or so. It is comical and amusing. I would highly recommend checking this one out, as it is totally free to play. All right, our second game on the list is Merge and Blade. This game is available on Game Pass, so if you are a member, I would recommend checking it out there before you make a purchase. The nice thing about games that are on Game Pass is they typically offer a little bit of a discount if you purchase them upon playing them with Game Pass. They offer, I think, around a 20% discount. The normal price on this is $9.99. It is totally worth that price, but if you have Game Pass, I'd highly recommend checking this one out. It's a good game to play just in passing time. It is a fantasy puzzle game where you're basically trying to upgrade your characters by matching a minimum of 3 in a row. And then it turns into a little bit of an auto battler where the only thing you can do is essentially switch the position of your characters. Each character has their own unique abilities and specials. And man, I tell you what, this game is very addicting, but the level of difficulty gets pretty tough when you start getting to those later levels in the campaign. They're always adding new material to this game. There's a roguelike version of it. There's like some dungeon crawling, like survival type, and then you have like your traditional campaign, which we're playing here. I'd recommend checking this one out, as it is free to play within Game Pass if you're already a subscriber, or it's under $10, and it's well worth that entry price. There is some DLC out there for it, but the standalone game itself is plenty to keep you entertained for hours. So this is Merge and Blade, and this is a recent game I've been playing as well. Highly recommend this one. I've had a lot of good times with this. All right, next up we've got yet another zombie defense game in HD. This game I purchased bundled with iZombie, which will be the next game we'll take a look at. This game I don't know if I'd recommend. It's fun. It's just like a twin stick shooter. You got a little bit of building that you can do for defense and that sort of thing. It's kind of got your standard features of any kind of like tower defense type game. It does have co-op, which would add some replayability, but the graphics leave a lot to be desired. If this was like on a mobile device, I'd probably say it's highly recommend it. At its price of $4.99, I probably wouldn't recommend buying it, but I was able to purchase this bundled with iZombie for less than $2. So if you can catch it on a good sale like I did, I'd recommend it, but otherwise I'd probably steer clear of it at its normal price. Now you can buy this bundled with iZombie for $6.99. And here you have iZombie, or you can purchase this one by itself for $3.99, which it's a fun little game, but totally not worth $4. But with me paying, I think around like $1.90 for both these games. But this is kind of the reverse of a zombie defense game where you're actually the zombie and you're trying to convert the enemies into zombies themselves and then attacking and then trying to take over everybody on the level. This game's kind of fun. It's good for a few minutes here and there. Again, it'd work better probably in a mobile device setting versus a console game, but I enjoyed it for what it was. But this is iZombie. Again, another inexpensive game if you can find it on a sale like I did. All right, the last game we've got on our list is Vampire Survivors. This game is also on Game Pass, so you can purchase it with a discount if you're a Game Pass member. I believe it's 20% discount again, or it's $4.99 to purchase it if you're not on Game Pass. So if you're on Game Pass, definitely check this out. It is a basically like it'd be like a twin stick shooter if you use both sticks, but really in truth everything's auto shooting and you're just controlling your character movements around. There are tons of characters, there's tons of DLC. This is actually the Contra themed DLC that recently came out that I was playing on, but it's kind of like almost like a bullet hell shooter in a way too, because I mean you just have waves upon waves of enemies and they just are relentless. It is a roguelike. You're never going to have the same playthrough from game to game, but it's a blast to play. You're working towards upgrading your weapons, evolving your weapons by combining them with different things. This game's been out a couple of years, and I have been an absolute fan of this since day one. I have put in a lot of hours into it, and I continue to come back to it time and time again. This is a great game to just pick up and play for a few minutes because each session lasts between 15 to 30 minutes. Excellent and highly recommend it.
So there you have it. 5 games I recently checked out. BVOVB, that's a strange beat 'em up, but it's worth checking out because it's totally free to play. iZombie and yet another zombie defense game. Those are more like for a mobile device like your cell phone or your tablet. Being on an Xbox, I'm expecting a little bit more. I'd probably say those are a pass, but if you can find them on the cheap like I did, probably worth checking out. Now, as far as Merge and Blade and Vampire Survivors, both these games are on Game Pass, so they're totally worth checking out. I go back to Vampire Survivors all the time because it's a good 15 to 30 minute session to play through around, and it's an easy pick up and play game. Something you can jump in and jump right out and then play while you're playing something else that's more in depth. A lot of fun with that game. Merge and Blade, kind of the same way. I love the puzzle and the auto battler, how it mixes together. But, it's one of those games where I find myself getting stuck a lot. It's got a high difficulty level. It's something that takes some time and persistence to get really good at. But as you level up, you're going to get better at the game. Definitely worth checking out if you have Game Pass on both those games. With that, we appreciate you guys watching. If you got any suggestions for some Xbox games on the series system that we need to check out, definitely let us know. But there's a couple of budget-friendly games and even free games we've been playing. Check out our podcast if you've got the time, as well as stick around for the YouTube channel to have more content to come. Thanks again.